Hell is everybody doing out there in Facebook land? Today, I have a special guest. His name is Jose Rios. He was a sergeant in the Army who served for over 20 years. Out there in Facebook land? Today, sorry about that. I have a reverb. Sometimes I keep one of my windows up. So, Jose, tell us a little bit about what you've been doing lately. Because I know you're into fitness. I know you're in the, we were talking about me and you talked about mental health. And I said, I would love to have you on and get a little bit more in depth of what that looks like and what you're working on.
Roger that, and Gordon, I appreciate you. It's a pleasure coming on to this live stream with you and on your channel, and I appreciate you for that.
Thank you.
So with what I'm doing now, like I said, my military background, I got out as an E7, and I've done my 20 years. Actually 20 years, 4 months and 12 days when I retired from the United States Army, 20-year combat veteran. And when I first got out, I guess people use the word retire, and I really don't like that word no more, but, I kind of was like a slouch and sat back or whatever, but always been a person that I got to do something. So one of the happy things I'm with right now is I got my YouTube channel, the Sergeant Major of Philly, and been doing things like, because I just go raw and uncut. I just give it to you how it is. I'm not, like I tell people, I'm not a yes man. I'm not here to be a yes man. If you get upset, well, I tell them, hey, well, that must be a red flag because something must be wrong with you. If I hurt your feelings, then you know what? Fix yourself. So I'm real big on that because in combat, brother, I've been in a lot of situations and there's no way of just tapping somebody on the back and be like, it's okay, and talking like you're some guy on Sesame Street. It ain't about that time. You need to really get down to the down and dirty and able to lead and put somebody to get to where they need. So what I'm doing now, once I got out, my biggest thing was being a father and my family with my kids and my wife, taking care of things. And now, my thing is for helping people out there with what you would see on my YouTube channel, what I do for fitness, for stress, mental health and stuff like that. It's just all together. And I call it's called, my theme is unfuck yourself always, if I could say that. So that's my theme. It's a thing of always. And I tell, I learned it a long time ago when one time I didn't shave and long time ago, Sergeant Major was like, Rios, Private Rios, you better go and fuck yourself. You got 5 minutes before I then shave yourself with my raw razor right here in front of everybody. I was like, so ever since that stuck in my head. So my thing is called unfuck yourself always, and what I'm trying to do for people.
So you have a very David Goggins type approach, it sounds like to me. You know who David Goggins is?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I look up to, love David Goggins a lot. I can't. He's an animal. He's a beast. He's a man. I'm nothing that I could compare to him. But when you talk about the path of, you tell it straight up, yes, you could say within that, because that's what I know. That's what I believe in, and that's what is really about for people to get through life, to get through any obstacle if they just hit it head on.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to know a little more of your background. You said you were in combat, you retired now, but wait, tell us a little bit about the combat, how it was. I mean, if you're okay with talking about that, I don't want to open up anything that you don't really want to get involved talking about.
Well, we could talk about a little stuff. In combat, I just say this is, I could say some of the best times and then some of the worst times of my life, all together in one. Of course, the best times, that camaraderie, that like what I'm so missing being outside the military, that camaraderie, your guys, my team, and we out there and we have each other's back, and it's only us going out there, taking care of a mission, and some of the great times, and of course some of the worst times due to situations of killings and people getting hit with mortar rounds, even while they sleep in their true area, what we would call it, like their little building area where they sleep at. But it makes me, my eyes look at things differently because I went through them experiences. And and you know how the world is right now with all this sensitivity or cancel culture stuff. Look at me like I'm the crazy guy, just like I get disapproved or not approved for certain life insurance, whatever, because whatever's on my records look like the crazy guy, but not crazy. I just see things differently, and I just know a different approach about things.
Right. Being a civilian who's never been in war, like I'll never understand what you went through. And I couldn't even imagine what you went through. And that's why when you were talking about mental health, I could see how something like that would definitely affect someone's mental health. So tell me a little bit, like give us a little insight on what you do on a daily basis to really combat the part of you. I'm assuming this, that you deal with a lot in your head.
Well, number one, I could tell you this. Number one, my kids saved my life, and when I say that, and I feel more open to say this because I take my approaches, and this is how I get through things. Yes, I've been one, and I never thought of or would have been, a person who would do this, but there were times that I almost tried to commit suicide, and just long story short, me seeing my son's face on one of my situations, it snapped me out of a situation and changed my life. My daughter, I had her after the Eagles won the Super Bowl and everything, but my kids helped me a lot and they changed my life. Now with myself, besides that, that's just automatic when I see my kids. My wife, she's big on helping me a lot, but she's tough on me as well. Like, get out your fucking ways. What's going on with you? Why you got to be standing there looking out the window all night, or the dumb shit that I would do? She gets me out of my way. But I mean, it's kind of dark that way. I got these lights this way, but going in my home gym is my biggest thing to combat stuff.
Working out.
Yes.
Working out. So give us a little insight what your workout routine looks like. What's it involve?
All right. Workout routine, just the usual thing. 4:30 in the morning, up, get myself moving. I gotta at least be down here by 5 o'clock to start my workout. And of course, different days is differently. I use Tuesdays and Thursdays. I call it total body Tuesdays and total body Thursdays to just do a whole total body thing. But it consists with all types of weight training with resistance bands, as well as weight training, boxing. I used to box, so that's one of the biggest stress relievers. I love it so much, but that training does. I got a home sauna that I got from overstock.com at a good price for $1,300. So I use that as well. But
you have a sauna in your house?
Yes, sir.
I love that.
I can send you the pictures after this, but I got a sauna. But and a lot of training I do as well is I do it at like just actual, without any waste of anything, my actual body. So if it's pull-ups, dips, sit-ups, I make sure I get that as well. And then I take my ass outside on that paved street out there and go ahead and get some miles on these legs. So
all right,
pretty much stuff like that. It's like a 2-a-day type of thing. First thing in the morning, and then maybe sometime within 12 or 1 o'clock, I'll do some type of cardio.
So you kind of took what you did when you were in the Army, and then you moved it and you just brought it back home, and you're waking up 4 in the morning when everybody else is hitting the snooze button or not even thinking about waking up. So kudos to you. That's pretty amazing. And another thing, kudos to you. You got a sauna. I'm envious. And but the good thing about a sauna, you may or may not know this, but which is interesting that you decided to get one, and because what it does is when you're in a sauna and you're in there for about a half an hour and the temperature's got to be pretty hot but not too hot, you raise your growth hormone levels it can double your growth hormone levels.
Roger.
So for the man or woman, it's really important. It's actually really good, really important for your hormone levels, for your growth hormone levels to come up. it definitely gives you a sense of well-being. It helps with weight loss and control the weight and hunger.
Absolutely.
So I highly recommend the sauna. Also, there's other things I can recommend, but we'll talk about that later. But I'm
Well,
pretty
I
good.
actually seen that, I was doing some work in somebody's basement and they had like a 4-man sauna. And I was like, wow, that sauna is amazing. I would like to get one. They were like, look, we found this one on overstock.com. I was like, all I need is a 1-man, 2-man, whatever you call it. I got a 2-man, but it's just good fit for one person. But they were like, yo, check overstock.com. When I checked, this is exactly what happened, Gordon. So I purchased it at $1,700. To me, that was like, shit, good deal, right?
Yeah.
$1,700. I looked the next day, it was on sale for $1,300. I called them back. I like, well, I just bought this yesterday for $1,700. They sent me back $400.
Nice.
So I got it for $1,300. Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
So now, you know what's really interesting is you sent me a video not too long ago, a couple of days ago, maybe it was last week. You sent me. I want to share this with people. What is your YouTube account's name? What is it called?
The Sergeant Major of Philly.
All right, so I can find it while you can talk if you want to, but I'm gonna try to find Sergeant Major of Philly.
The Sergeant Major of Philly. Yes. So I mean, like my everyday thing is always like, now I'm gonna tell you this. It ain't like I really want to get out the bed. I consider things like we all have some type of bitch in our system, and that bitch in my system be wanting me to just lay in that bed or whatever. But when I push myself out that bed and get that workout, I'm getting a lot of things done before even anybody is up during the day. And that feeling feels so freaking good for me throughout the day, as well as I'm able to sleep better later on when I can get some type of rest, because usually I don't, unless if I'm not having my issues due to, my brain's always moving and shit that I went through. But me doing that, it combats a lot of my issues for me to do stuff on my own. And my biggest thing is that I go to the VA, I go to the doctors a lot. I have a lot of issues, medication and all that. But one thing I told the doctor, I'm like, hey, doc, be honest with me, man. You can't fix this shit up here, bro. You can't. And he won't say it, but he runs around saying different things. I'm like, look, this type of machine up here can't be fixed. I can only do things myself to be able to fix that, because at the end of the day, it's temporary when I go to the doctor. I live with my dad. It's just me, my wife, and my kids. I'm not going to put this shit on them. So it's up to me. I'm the man. You feel me? So.
Right. And I agree with that. You got to start with from within. Everything I've ever learned, and I'm speaking from experience and people I've talked to and people I've dealt with and helped out, it really does start within. Nobody else can fix you. It's got to start with you, like you said, and you're doing it, right? You're doing the physical activity, which is huge for mental health, by the way. Huge for mental health. Like without that, honestly, I don't know if I could survive, right? If I didn't have fitness in my life, I don't know what other outlet there is that helps you out with, just clarity and calmness. And, we need to move as human beings.
Need it.
And it's definitely, like you talked about, you were talking about cancel culture, and I heard you talk about, you brought that up, and I heard it. So besides all that, like if we start moving, we can really combat a lot of the things that are holding us back from being a healthy society. Right now, America is at a tilting point, and we're probably one of the most unhealthy countries in the world. And it's, it shows, and a lot and we got to take a step back and look at ourselves and not sit there. I'm not sitting there judging people in a way where I'm like, oh, you like whatever, right? I'm saying, like, if you really want to take care of yourself, you want things to be better when something comes along like COVID, that you want to be prepared for it. I'm not saying don't get the vaccine or get the vaccine. I'm not getting involved in all that hoopla.
Right. Absolutely.
That's your choice, right? Do what you want to do. Right. But the thing is, like, go ahead.
No, it's this one thing I want to put out there. It's like a thing with you, like me, situation happened and then it hit the switch. Me knowing some of your story, and I don't want to get too much into it, but family members and stuff that happened, and the shit that flipped that light in your head, like, man, nah, man, I'm gonna have to change this freaking cycle and and get shit together, get healthy, and push people to get healthy. Knowing the stuff that you do, garage fitness, you writing the book that you have, you doing things because it's so dear to you, your biggest why, because you give a shit because of what happened within your family and whatever, and you don't want nobody to go through that crap. So
Right.
it's people like how you went through that. People got to find their freaking why. At the end of the day, a situation, if they went through and it was horrible for them, you know what? Unfuck yourself. Change that shit. You know what I mean?
Right, right. So when you're saying that, whatever, what you're doing is you had to unlearn what you learned or what you felt or what you experienced. So many times what we do is we have a situation, and I was actually just having this talk with somebody the other day about this, and it came up where I said sometimes when we're trying to overcome something in our lives, the reason why we can't start that business, or we stop running the business, or we stop working out, or we stop eating right, is because we become that little kid again inside our heads, and we revert back to that. That's what really it is. It's all an emotional state that you get back to, or whatever. And usually it stems from when you were younger. Like, and then you become like a little kid. You get all you start pouting in your head, right? I don't need to do, you know what I mean? So you go through that. And the only thing you gotta be aware of that, and you go, well, you know what? I'm being a baby. I'm a grown man. I'm being a baby, and this has come from a man, right? And I know how you are.
Look. It's simple like this. I'm real honest with this, and I do with my family. They can get pissed all they want. Look. Are you acting like a baby? Are you acting like a bitch? You got to be able to look at yourself in the mirror. I know I do it sometimes, and that's how I snap myself out. Like a lot of times, my wife sometimes would think I'm crazy because she'll hear me talking in the shower, talking in the mirror, like Rios, stop acting like a bitch. I do it, and you know what? It ain't. I've been doing this for years to get me out of a lot of things. Even sometimes when I run, I hate running. I do, but when I do it in the cold, I be talking to myself, and I could just imagine. Just people listening to me like, who the fuck? Like, thinking I'm crazy. But one point I want to bring up too is I remember as a kid, and my grandfather, he had his own business, a store in Philadelphia. My grandfather was born and raised in Puerto Rico and ended up living in Philadelphia. But long story short, something about the city took his store or whatever. I don't know too much of the insights of it. When he didn't have his store no more, my grandpa, probably about 2 weeks, the longest, he died after that. And not too long ago, recently, I was fixing some stuff in some other people's house, and it was people who own a farm. I'm like, who is that out there farming by himself? The lady's husband was like 82 years old, still out there moving and doing it. And one thing I learned is that, you know what? When you end up just sitting your ass down and not doing nothing, that's that death right behind you, that close, breathing on your freaking ear. That's why I can't stop. That's why how we met each other with what I'm doing with investing or whatever it is. Like I constantly just want to go and get the knowledge and push. My biggest thing is what I do with my health, and then adding on that other stuff to it. And trust me, I'm still not where I want to be. That's why I'm constantly pushing. I want to get this real estate. I want to get better in these stocks. I want to keep myself exercising. My kids, I make sure that they don't see daddy just sitting on his freaking ass. They'll come down here and imitate. Your kids will imitate exactly what you're doing. So one of my biggest things I told my wife of doing it is like, hey, one day my daughter's going to have a boyfriend. I'm going to make sure while I'm, I don't know, 50 something, 60 years old, that I'm still in shape, that when that boyfriend look at me and think he's going to try something, he's going to think twice. I'm gonna keep myself. Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
So
But you said something that was interesting, and you said when you stop moving, right? When you get older,
right?
And you get, there's actually it sounds like, oh, that's just people. That's just something people say. There's actually a lot of science behind that now.
Right.
When you stop having goals in your life, your body relaxes, and you end up, it's like almost like everything's done, I'm done, and that's when people die, right? And it sounds morbid, but that's how it is. That's why when you hear somebody retires, shortly after that, they pass away. Or or you hear that somebody else's significant other passed away, somebody they were taking care of their whole life. They're gone, they have nobody else except for themselves. And then also they're mourning also, right? They're losing a part of themselves. And then on top of it, they have no more goal left. It's like that was so that happens a lot. I've seen it happen to my uncle and his wife. I seen it happen to people that retired. I seen it across the way. It was like I've experienced it.
Right. And that was my problem. So when I got out, I just fell into that realm. I retired in 2017. I fell into that realm, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I was acting like a little bitch because I have PTSD, I have TBI, which traumatic brain injury. I was a paratrooper. I got bad knees from jumping out of the plane. I have a lot of nerve damage and nerve pain due to however it is, right? And I was already like hearing that from doctors and feeling it. It was almost like, oh, I gotta sit here, I can't do nothing, I'm hurting or whatever. I was acting like a pure bitch. So what I do now is like, let me tell you something, it's hard, but I deal with the pain. And I tell myself, and just like I tell anybody else, that pain tells me I'm alive, and that pain is just bitch leaving my body. So I had pain while I'm working out or doing anything, but I feel better after. At least it gives me some time. Instead of me when I used to I was out drinking so damn much, popping all these freaking pills, doing the dumbest shit just to not deal with whatever I was dealing with in my head or deal with my freaking pain. And I had to get out of that shit because I was killing myself. I wasn't able to do shit with my kids. My son jump on my back. I'm telling him, get off my back. I can't even play with my freaking kids. Like, it was so freaking embarrassing. So freaking embarrassing. That's why I'll get hard on people like, you a man and you got freaking kids, which is a blessing. You play with them dead kids. You do what you can. All right, well, I can't. Well, get your ass out there. Well, my knees hurt, whatever. Well, you got to move so that shit, you can work that thing out. You're always going to hurt. If shit ain't going to change, you might as well live life the way you want it. What, you just going to sit on your ass and not do shit? That's pissed me off, and that's why I get in people's heads with that shit.
Yeah, right. So you brought up something that, sitting on the couch, your knees hurt you. So I always tell everybody this. I can sit on the couch, I can be hurting, or I can get up and work out and hurt. Which one am I going to do? Be a healthier version of myself? And when you said something about pain, so pain is actually a mover for us. And it's not there to tell us to stop doing stuff. It's there to say, for most part, it's there to say, you know what? Something's going on. I need to get up and move. When you're feeling that agitation, when you feel like you're not doing enough, it's there for a reason, because you're not doing enough. Right? It's telling you're not doing enough. Now, do you need time off from things sometimes? Yes, you need to take a break. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is, when you feel the agitation, when it's telling you, come on, let's do some, you have more in you, and let's move.
See, I know exactly what you say with the time off. You do need time off, but it's like, sometimes it comes from me like, damn, I work, I had a certain schedule and I'm supposed to work out today, but I don't feel like it. Then I'll be like, in my head, sometimes it goes in my head, oh, you did enough. Yeah, no. That's when you don't want to do it. That's when you're supposed to do it. And you already know when you do something, when you don't want to do it, and it's sucking while you're going to it, but then you do it after that, that feeling is a natural drug that I can't freaking fucking explain. What you call it, the dopamines and all that shit. Yep. That is a natural drug that, oh my God, it feels so good. That's why I'm so addicted to it.
It's natural, and it's actually very healthy to do that. And people look for outside instant gratification sources that release a lot of that, right? Yeah, they're going to get that, but what will happen is the more comfortable you become with something. We'll use drug for example. You're talking about drinking. Yeah, like I have the occasional drink, but when you start drinking in excess and you become what you're doing, or what I used to do, what'll happen is your body actually, you're going to be more and more to get that dopamine release. And then what also happens is it actually causes more pain. So because you have to get back to homeostasis, you need to have more. So you feel more pain, and you're actually, all you're doing now, you're chasing this thing that's not reality. Right. And you got to get out of it. And the only way you get out of it is to start like moving in the direction of being more healthy.
And with that, like that, popping pills, Percocets, or whatever, just for pain. These are things, if whoever it could be watching, no family member or doing it themselves, you going on the downside where you got to, you could do all, look, I'm not saying that I don't believe in therapy. That's not what I'm saying. But you could go through all the freaking therapy you want. At the end of the day, who you home with? Yourself. Now, you may have a wife or whatever, but you got to do this yourself, man. Stop.
Right.
People always waiting for somebody to let them off the hook or just anything for excuse to say. But you gotta. It happens with yourself, man. So.
Right. It definitely starts with yourself. And one of the things I say, like, is surround yourself with like-minded people, surround yourself with communities, look for help.
Right.
If that is the problem, if they're really there. But you are right. At the end of the day, you have yourself and you got to go home to yourself. And I'm going to use an analogy. Like one of my friends were talking about me, and we're talking about this. A family member of mine passed away, and we were sitting there talking about it. He goes, it's not when everybody else is around that you need to support. It's when everything shuts off and you're sitting by yourself. That's when it really hits you. So you got to learn to sit with yourself. You got to learn to feel that and understand it's going to be there. There's going to be pain. And in those times, that's where you really got to be strong, the strongest, right? When you're at night by yourself and nobody's around. Or when your wife's asleep with the kids and you wake up and you're like just sitting there.
Perfectly said, because I do on my page, one of the videos is learn to be alone. That's one of my videos, learn to be alone. And the things is almost like where things could be easy for yourself when you learn to be alone, learn to enjoy yourself, push yourself doing your stuff on your own. When anything else comes, it's just an add-on. It's just much easier. You have to be able to find that place on your own that you're happy within yourself. Stop always looking for externals. I don't care what it is. Stop always looking because I need this woman, because I need this, because I need that. You gotta come here with it. And when you're good right here with it, you make that woman, you make them kids, you make everything else better. Because you ain't shit if you ain't right with yourself.
Right.
You said it to me. What's all the money if your health is,
Right.
That's one of your big
right. That's one of my major things when I speak at events where there's people that are real estate agents and stockbroker or stock market, and it doesn't matter, right? Even successful entrepreneurs or millionaires.
Now I want it. I'm not saying I'm not want it.
Listen, everybody, like, who doesn't want to be wealthy? Most people do, right?
Right.
And it's not. But what I'm really saying, when I talk to the people that have money. I say, look at like you can see they're unhealthy, right? You can see it. You're looking right straight in their eyes. You can tell there's more to it. You ask them why they want the money. They don't even know why they want the money. They want the money, and really the reason is they're looking for happiness a lot of the time. So, but happiness doesn't start just or end right there. Happiness is, wealth is fine, but you got to really take care of your health, and that's not just physically. That's also mentally, and those things go hand in hand. By the way. When people were saying your mind and your body, well, your mind is part of your body. Literally, it's attached to your body. So all this works together. If you're feeding your body wrong, guess what? This is going to suffer, right? You know that, right? If you're not getting up and moving, this suffers.
What I like to say is, and sometimes, what I know with people be like, oh man, fuck him. He's just a hard guy, whatever. Look. I'm not saying the shit's freaking easy. It wasn't easy for me. I'm saying this because I've been through the shit. I almost fucking killed myself multiple times. My mind does a whole bunch of shit. Even till right now, it's just maybe now I'm able to. I know how to combat myself a little bit. I go into battle with myself. But not that it's easy, but you got to start from somewhere, whatever it is, the steps. You can't do it. You can't, I can't do pull-ups. Stop using can't. Just try one. Just try one. And take them little steps and you'll see a difference with your body. Like me, I'm big on intermittent fasting. And when I got the military, like I never was 160, bro. You know me, I'm a short dude. I'm only 5'3".
Yeah.
I was 160, chest all cave in and stomach all out. That looks stupid as hell, me being a midget with a big ass stomach, right? So, right? And I done all types of things. Like when I was in the military, I used to, bulk up a lot and lifted 300 pounds, whatever. And I felt good and everything. But now with my, as older as I get, and now I'm out the military, I like to just be like nicely cut up and everything. So the way I lost weight instantly was intermittent fasting. And it ain't saying don't eat. You just got to know your times. You got to do things in moderation. I'm going to tell you this. I don't stop. I'm Puerto Rican. What we love, rice and beans, pork, whatever. I love that shit, bro. I don't stop what I'm eating. I just do things in moderations. I bust my ass, and then I use that what I love, what I like to eat. I use that as that reward later on, and then I go and bust my ass again. So I call it when I talk on Instagram, whatever. I said, pay that debt to your fucking body. Pay that fucking debt, so then you could get that reward. I don't tell nobody like you got to stop eating this, and this. I'm just like things are in moderation. At least start from there. Learn to cut back on carbs, on sugars, on salt. Cut back on some of that, and you'll notice a difference. And then add in workout is the other side of it.
Give me a little insight on your window of intermittent fasting, and tell people out there what intermittent fasting is if they don't know already.
Right. So intermittent fasting is just exactly what it is. Intermittent. So you take you're not, it ain't like you go through the whole day and not eat. You just have a time frame that you have a window that you do eat. So when I first started, right now I'm like 20 hours, bro. Not gonna lie. That's the longest I go. I'll do 20 or 21. Sometimes I'm not even really hungry. But I started, the first way to start, like if people try 12. And when you think about that, you sleeping, if you was to technically 6 to 8 hours. All right, so you got 4 more hours left before that 12 window. People always think looking at that thing in the FDA that's all the healthy part. They just put a portion in it. You got to do stuff yourself. I don't eat breakfast like that. Only, when I intermittent fast, I don't go every day intermittent fast. I can, but certain days I don't use carbs. Like today, I didn't eat no carbs today. I was just straight protein. And tomorrow I might intermittent fast and wait through that window 16 to 20 hours. Then I'll eat some stuff with carbs, So I kind of break my stuff down like that. And that's how I keep my weight, get to still see the abs. Cause women love that, right?
What do you do? A 4 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour window of eating, or just 6 hour?
More, I'm more towards the 4 hour now.
Yeah.
More towards that, but I like to always stay within that 6 to 4 hour. Is nothing less, no more. I got used to it now, where like today, I ate, my first meal was at 4 o'clock. So no, 3 or 4 o'clock. Yeah, I was at that 4 hour window because 7 o'clock would have been 24 hours for me. So I'm either 7, 8. 8 is me pushing it. Sometimes 8, depending on how my schedule is. But usually I like to stop at 7 o'clock, and then I won't eat till 2 to 3 o'clock the next day.
Okay, so you eat one meal a day or 2 meals a day? Is it 1 or 2 meals?
The most 2, but it'll probably be 1. And like I break little things in moderation. Like today, like I ate some ribs, just ate some ribs for the protein, some tuna fish. Yeah, that's all I ate. Some ribs and tuna fish. Matter of fact, and I took some, strawberries are very low in carbs, and just took some strawberries. Like something people don't know. I'm glad strawberries is low in carbs. So yeah.
Yeah. So you basically, what you'll do is you'll just take the foods that you really like and just eat them for 1 meal. Yeah. Intermittent fasting is nice. And the thing about intermittent fasting is what people don't know is that you when you don't eat, you actually you'll have more energy.
Right.
But calories are energy at the same time, right? It's a measure of heat. So it's like but you need that energy. So eating it later at night works sometimes for people because then they can eat their carbs, and then it helps they actually and the tryptophan, and that makes them tired, so they go to sleep easier. So I usually about 2 or 3 hours before I go to sleep, I'll eat my last meal. But that intermittent fasting is very interesting in that way. Now,
I just say it's whatever you're going for, because some people, I'm not going for bulk, but it depends on what you're going for. But I like knowing the difference that, you know, people we eat and keep stuffing ourselves and don't give our body a chance to, you know, get that
Digest.
shit out of our system, man. And noticing the difference with that, like I noticed from a hormonal effect and everything, like I feel better. And that's why now I'm kind of like, I'm stuck on that. I'm big on it. I'm addicted to it. Like I said, don't go, the most I'll go is maybe 3 straight days intermittent fasting or 2. You don't do it every day. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
when I don't do it, I'm getting the reward. When I want to eat some cinnamon toast crunch, the cereal that I like, want to eat some damn freaking rice and beans, then I'm happy when I eating it. But then I know, you know what? It's back to the drawing board. But I still go ahead and do my workouts and everything. And one thing I forgot to put in there is, if anybody could fucking do who's of age like I'm 42, or I mean even young folks started now, yoga. When I was when I got when I was in a what was it? I forgot what it was called, but it was a combat program. Only personnel who went through combat was going through shit, go through the program. We went through yoga. And of course I was thinking like, hell no, yoga, that's for girls or whatever. And you know what, man, that you talk about the different types of muscles you work, as well as stretching. And since you brought up David Goggins, that me doing yoga and loving it. And when I first heard David Goggins talk about that yoga saved him, it made so much freaking sense to me, because it made me feel like I was 18 years old walking out of this gym area. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah. Stretching is huge. We don't do enough of it. I just started implementing more stretching in my programs. I could be even better at it than I'm already at it currently, but I'm building it up. And I notice a difference when I stretch, just how I feel, right? Like you said, you walked out, you felt like you were 18 years old again.
Yes.
A lot of these big guys, muscular guys, they don't stretch, and you see them walking around, they're just like, and that's not good, because what ends up happening is you lose your flexibility, and that's half your health to me right there. Because if you're not flexible, you start losing that.
And you got to remember balance. The balance with yoga too is like, we weight train and get strong on that, but like using your body weight and doing certain balances that works your core and certain parts of muscle that you probably didn't even think you had, that makes you stronger too. That's why one of the biggest guys that I always looked up to, Bruce Lee, that's why he was one of the strongest in the world. And people were like, oh, he's small. This guy, he had it all together, how he balanced everything out pretty much.
Right.
That's the best way I can put it.
I totally agree with that 100%. So I want to pull up one of your videos and play it, and I'm going to share it. There's this one that's called Sergeant Major Fit Win. Is that your big video? I want to play a little bit.
That's actually a hip hop video that I did, but I was putting in content in that. That's actually a music video.
Yeah. I want to hold on 1 second. I'm gonna see if I can share this.
Okay.
I'll play this a little bit of it. Here it is right here.
Yeah, people thinking I was a rapper. Like, I'm not a rapper. I just know how to rap and put out content. That's all I was doing.
All right. This is your YouTube channel, by the way, right?
Roger that. That's my YouTube channel.
I'm about to play it. Ready? Can you see this?
Yes, sir.
I'll make it bigger. Can you hear it?
No.
Yes, sir.
Here it is.
If you don't want me mixing with Creed no more, we'll make out some other kind of way, you know?
There's one thing I want you to do for me.
At all costs, I polish my flaws, mitigate all risks, no honor laws. 1979, the year I landed my balls, they never compromise my man, so fuck all y'all. Take the heat of that, there's no misconception, I'm just death from a motherfucking airborne weapon.
A man of honor and high quality, the wings forever, just possibility. Man of my throne, went through hell, took the steps on my own, lived through all nightmares. That night on Elm Street, I don't fear my breathing, so I accept heat. So don't you test me, or get you laid deep. Maniac at all costs with less sleep. Iraqistan veteran, you best believe. Philadelphia, no one can stop me. Yeah.
I'm gonna stop it right there. That's pretty cool, man. So how many videos do you have? I just wanted to play a little bit of that for everybody.
I think that was actually just my first one. I just threw a hip hop thing in there, and people didn't know if it was doing a rapping thing. Like, I could rap, that was just a video that I want to throw there just to pique people's interest. But then the rest of the videos is me talking and doing things. But that video was near and dear to me because, well, the word Iraqistan, I just put Iraq and Afghanistan together, you know, as a war veteran for that. But I poured my heart and soul into that because on the hooks in the middle is of me just after I rap and I talk about times when family members, I remember being 7 years old and I had family members tell me I was never going to be shit. And that stuck with me all the way growing up. You know, I always had, for some reason, I always had that fire in me and pushed me. I talk about a lot of things was going on in the world and multiple things that I was just trying to put out there so people understand who the hell I am. And I'm not an easy lay down. Nobody's just gonna walk over me, and I'm gonna just keep pushing no matter what it is. So that video is a big deal to me.
You know, you're authentic. You stay true to who you are. You know what I'm saying? Now, some people might hear you and it might not resonate with you, just like me, right? They hear you say some things, it might throw them off. You throw the F-bomb a lot, right? We know that. I've known you for a while now. So, when somebody gets to actually know you, if they look past all the other stuff that they might not like, then they'll see a human being there that has a lot of heart, a lot of desire, somebody who loves and cares for people. And you know, you're tough for a reason. You're tough because you understand the world's tough, right? I listened to this psychologist, though I really like. His name's Jordan Peterson. A lot of people who know me know I like him a lot. And he talks about one of the things that reminds me of you in a lot of ways. And what he says is that a lot of people think that a good man is somebody who's just, you know, I'm a good guy. I'm doing that. No, a good man is somebody who's been through turmoil, who's been through who has been through so much shit that they have that evil inside them, but they know they will never use it, right? They will never, but if something came along their way, they would then they're gonna, like, that comes out, that monster comes out. So a real man is somebody who has that monster within them, but doesn't use it for anything bad or anything evil. They just have it in them. They know what the other person's capable of. They see that evil, like I got you, but you're not going to get one over me. And then they let that person know in a certain way, and that other person knows, right? So that's what makes a real man.
See,
that's what you remind me of. You just like that. You're just knuckles down, blue collar worker.
That's exactly what I am. Like, you know, I don't really just go ahead and judge people no more. And that's why I say if people look at me, judge whatever by the cover, if it's the way I dress, the way I talk, whatever, and you got a problem with that, then to me, I just look, they have a problem with their fucking self. Because like you just said, look all past that. We're all different for a reason. We were all the same thing. The world would be fucking boring. Come on now. You know what I mean? So we're different for a reason. And my number one thing, yes, I may seem and come off a badass this and that, but I give a fuck. The only reason why I do this stuff is because I really freaking care. And let me tell you one thing. My son just passed on Saturday. This past Saturday, he went through white belt and got his orange belt in karate. And my son has autism. And I get emotional, you know, with that, because I'm like, I tell people, I'm like, what I'm gonna do? I'm not gonna treat my son no freaking different because he got autism. Because the time I leave this earth, the world don't give a shit. The world ain't gonna take a knee down or be like, oh, we're gonna take our time for Josiah because he got autism. They don't give a shit. The world is cruel, so I gotta treat him a certain way as he is a human being, knowing that life is freaking hard. Like I would tell my wife, we can't baby him because he has autism. And I treat it, and when he won, he knows while he was doing his karate stuff, I seen him peek to the side of his eye and pay attention to me because I look, but I was so proud Saturday when he got that orange belt, but I always, and people may think I'm hard on him, but when he plays flag football, anything, I'm straight on him because I'm not going to treat him no different because you know what? When I'm gone, the world don't give a shit. and like the stuff I'm putting on YouTube, say I could leave today. I want to leave a catalog for my kids, nephew, or people to go back to be like, damn, my son be like, what would daddy do? If he listen to the shit that I say on there, he'll get his shit together. If the grains of bitch that's in his system come in and he start acting like a sissy, he'll learn how to change that shit and drive on. You know what I mean? And when I say that, it ain't people may think like, oh, you got to be all macho. It ain't about being macho. It ain't about no ego or nothing. It's about just crushing goals in life, and don't let nobody stop you and fucking label you.
Right, right. And who cares if they label you, right? I do the things that way I want to do them because I do them. That's why I want to do them, right? I'm very, but at the same time, I'm very, I also am mindful of the world and how people view people.
Right.
I'm not inconsiderate, right?
No,
That
that's
makes any
understandable.
sense what I'm trying to come off as, but I definitely am true to myself, and I'm real to who I am, right? Just like you are. And I think I appreciate that about somebody who be like that, because I think so many people are not authentic anymore, and they're trying to play up for whatever it is, maybe the camera or around people. And listen, I've done it, and in the past, and then realize that's not who I want to be. I don't want to be fake, and I totally get where you're coming from with all that, man. And I love how you're raising your child. You're raising them to take care of himself, and that like. I can take a piece of that and utilize that with everybody in my life. That would just to be around the way you portray that and just that energy. I love that.
I tell you this. I call myself the Sergeant Major of Philly for a reason. I always wanted to be a Sergeant Major in the United States Army. This is true. I didn't. They was going to promote me to E8, but it was my time getting out. I didn't accept that. I was 2 ranks away from Sergeant Major. I got out as a Sergeant First Class, E7, and I know why I got out like that. In my MOS and my job title, during the time compared to and my job force in what I was in, the people, and if they've been through certain training and compared to my status was up there, and I've been through a lot of stuff. So it was already talks. It was like, yo, Tom Rios, he's gonna be the one to be promoted, Sergeant Major, whatever. That was a go. You know what I mean? And I know why I didn't get there, and I can say this, and for who are watching, these people know who they are. There's a lot of, I love the Army, but just like in the world, there's a lot of piece of shits out there, and a lot of piece of shits in leadership positions. And because me being true to myself, me being true to me, that kind of pushed me back from promotion, because I didn't play the good old boy system. I didn't hang with these crowds or whatever. I did me. If a high-ranking person asked a question or said something, and I felt like that didn't make sense or that was wrong, I would say something. That's just me. You know what I mean? So, and there's stuff, I wasn't always right. There's stuff that I done wrong in the military, but by me staying myself, I knew that it was a turnoff in a lot of ways, because, a lot of people want you to go and follow them. But me understanding that I'm able to breathe, and even though I wanted that goal, I realized that, but I'm happy with myself. Like when I got to the Army, all my friends tell me, thank you for being you. My soldiers, thank you. They were like, Sean Rios never changed for shit. He was just himself, no matter it. I took the fire. Anytime if I had to stand in front of whoever and I had to stand and face the fire, I faced the freaking fire. And now that I'm out the military, that shit ain't gonna stop. I'll face the fire no matter what. And I'm not saying that I'm always right, but I'm willing to listen to other people's opinions, because people have the right. You have the right to feel however the fuck you feel. I don't give a shit what it is. Really, I don't. You have a right for that. That's the reason why military fight for the country. But I'm never gonna damn compromise my integrity, myself, for shit, no matter what.
Right. I'm sitting here listening to that, and like, there was things I've done, and I realized like, okay, that's not what I want to be like. Right. And you get real quick, you start realizing who you want to be, you don't want to be. Not everybody does though. Some people, like you said, some people, whatever you want to call it, like follow the leader, and you're like, no, I'll follow the leader, but I'm going to do things, I'm going to do it my way still too at the same time. right? I'm still going to be who I am. I'm not going to change who I am for somebody else just because they want me to be whatever it is, right? So I respect that because I felt that in certain ways when I was trying to be somebody I didn't want to be. It's not like I was trying to be somebody that I was like working towards or growing towards or something different. It was like I like that. I don't like that. I don't want to
I
be
get
like that. Right. So I totally get you when you're saying you would be. So basically, you're being real to yourself. You're being who you are and authentic, and that's so hard in today's world because, like you said, like other people want you to be a certain way, and you're like, no, I'm good. I'm gonna be me. So.
And I understand what people go through, but it's just a thing. Like I gotta look myself in the mirror. There's a lot of time. One thing that I like of myself now is that if I do something wrong, if I did something wrong to somebody or lashed out at the wrong time, that, every day we look at the mirror some way somehow, and I could feel that. And when I'm wrong, I'll go back and apologize. Yo, I'm fucked up. I was a piece of shit for that, and I'm sorry. You know what I mean? I'm big on that now because holding that stuff in, there's too much energy holding all that, trying to be that macho and that ego. I let that stuff go because you know what? That shit like that gets yourself killed. All right, to be honest, especially in these streets nowadays of what's going on in life, whatever. Like, look, let all that shit go. When I gotta get combative, understand this. It was a real situation that happened. Like my wife and my kids know. Like, look, if somebody starts shit with me, just with me being there, they most likely have a chance to live. You start shit with me while I'm with my family and I feel threatened for my family, I'll take that chance and I live the rest of my life in jail before I let something happen to that.
Right.
That's just me.
Totally understand that, man. No, your family's everything. See, like to stay real to yourself, real for your family, not letting something happen to. And I totally get that, right? I totally feel that. So before we go, tell us where everybody can find you at. Tell us about your YouTube channel. Is it blowing up now? Is it people starting to get more? Is it starting to take off?
It's getting a little something. Right now, like I said, I just recently started at the beginning of 2022. So, you know, these YouTube channels, it's about patience is a virtue, and it's about that, and it's about consistency. So I got to keep my ass consistent with these videos and put these stuff out there. But every platform, if it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and my YouTube channel, everything's at the Sergeant Major of Philly. Put that in, you'll find me on any of those: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and my YouTube channel. And every Monday, right now, I've been consistent. Every Monday at 1:00, I drop a new video on my YouTube channel. Like today, what dropped is What is Happiness. And if you get a chance to watch that sometime when you can, Gordon, today I did a different approach where I was interviewing people and asking people what is happiness to them. And then at the end, I did a summary because just real quick in there, I don't want to give the whole thing, but happiness is subjective depending on who you ask. You know what I mean? So I did a different approach of that today. Just like I said, I had my music video in there, and I'll do another one later on. But my stuff is content that I'm throwing out there for a reason. I had my content that I got in there. I got one that's called you have to be 100% truthful to yourself, learn to be alone, win from within, what is happiness, and a couple other ones that I have. But you know, at the Sergeant Major Philly is the platforms people could find me at. And please don't forget to if you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell icon.
I think it's great, man. I love the messages that you're trying to spread here. You have a mission, and you're set, like your mission is to spread the word, right? You know, so give us, just so everybody's super clear on your mission right now. Tell us exactly what your mission is, right? And how, besides making content, what else are you doing?
Well, number one mission is on that YouTube channel. I have a trailer and I go through the whole mission, what the page is about. But to be honest with you, it's the biggest thing. Unfuck yourself always. I'm about helping people if it's with stress, for their stress, for fitness, for health, mental issues, all types of things that it goes in the realms when you get in your way, because this machine right here, a lot of times everybody is their worst enemy. If nobody else is, you are your worst enemy that stops you from that. So my number one mission, let me tell you something, Gordon, and this is honest to everything. Like I said, I don't know when I could leave this earth, but I want to leave a catalog for my kids, number one. Number two, I'm not thinking of any money or anything. I'm doing this on my own. I invest in myself, got the equipment and whatever to do this stuff. Why? Because I give a shit. Because like my wife know, when I got out the army, I said, I want to just give back. I want to give back. So it's been what, 4 or 5 years that I was out the army. Now I'm finally fucking doing it. And because I want to do things like I want to go in my neighborhoods in Philadelphia. And if I get to make some extra money from stuff that I learned, I want to buy turkeys for people before Thanksgiving. I want to do toys for tots for kids. I want to give back. That makes me happy. I want to put some energy out there. And let me tell you something, Gordon, if I can help one freaking person, that's freaking enough for me. It ain't about all the subscribers or whatever, but somebody I know that I'm helping. And there was one lady, she had hit me up. She said, and I don't even know this lady, you know what I mean? And they say the people who's going to support you is most of the time people you don't even know.
Right.
And she said, I see my son following you. My son been through stuff with drugs and whatever, and I see you a person of that. You know what I mean? And I'm just me. I'm not trying to be nobody else. This is me. Anybody who knows me from the military, from growing up, this always been me. A lot of things people don't know. I played high school football all 4 years. Started 3 straight years. I was a buck nothing, but I played because I'm a combative guy. I like stuff like that, and I like the camaraderie with guys. And I love how, just like yourself, like when I first met you, we hit it off. It's the same freaking energy. How you're about this fitness, how you were emotional about, like a lot of people don't know the background too, why you created this, the Garage Fitness, wrote your book for a lot of reasons. And
Right.
it was for the right freaking reason. Same thing for me. And I just want to keep putting that positive energy out, no matter if people think because I say the F-bomb, it ain't positive. Nah, I'm putting that straight raw in your face, hardcore positive, because there's no way I'm not about to act like I'm reading you a book and tap you on your back. I'm not nobody's yes man. I'm about getting you to where you need to go. And before I go, it also holds me accountable. You understand?
Right.
This helps me. This helps me. Let me be honest. This helps me.
Yep. Yep.
So it keeps my mental. It keeps me keeping on doing what I gotta do, keep myself in shape no matter what, of the pain and whatever else I go through. It holds me accountable to snap out my freaking way.
I love it. Jose, I want to say thank you for being on. It was a pleasure of mine, man. And I do want to collaborate with you, meaning when there's an event or something, hey man, we can do something together. Bring it raw, like you said. I would love to be part of it. You're talking about toys for tots, you're talking about different things like that, giving back to the community. We can definitely do some things together, and we'll keep in touch.
I'll be there. Hey,
right?
just you know me, I'll be there, brother.
All right, let's do something together, okay?
Roger
All
that.
right, man. Thank you so much. Jose, take it easy, man.
Roger that. Take care, brother. Thank you.
You're welcome.